Welcome back to Making Sense Conversations. I'm Washeke Ndwati. Now, if you listened to the previous episode, I was talking about stopping to take some time in stillness, in silence, to reflect before we start loading on all these new goals and New Year's resolutions and beating ourselves down for not achieving this year's resolution. So take time to stop so you truly understand what you want. Yeah. And then you can start and really defining what it is you want to start. And today morning, I just came across, I think it's Janet Bugwa who did it. And she was just talking about, would I date myself? And it got me thinking, maybe, and I'm going to do this. And this is all part of, my reflections as we wind down the year. I'm going to do this. I'm going to write a job application to myself. And the job is not just to work. It's about, this is the life I want, and describe it. And then, so imagine you are hiring, somebody was hiring to give you a position, and the position is the life you want to have in all ways. The job you want to have, the money you want to have, the travel you want to have, the relationships you want to have, the parenting you want to have or be able to do. Imagine that was the job description, your life, your dream life. And when I say dream, I'm going to go back to what I said last week. Not the dream that others think you should have. Not the dream you have convinced yourself to have. The dream that you are convicted. The dream that you see things that are wrong. You're like, for some reason, I can't accept that this is my reality, because what is in me and what screams out to me and what bothers me, what wakes me up at 3 o'clock in the morning is so different. That's the one I want. The career you think you should have, the business you should, that's the job on offer, your life. And remove all the reasons why you can't do it. The economy, blah, blah, blah. Remove all those reasons. For now. Yeah, because this is you to you. This is you to you. And now describe that. And now apply for that job. What is it about you? And put everything on the table. You may start with the obvious things that are in front of you, that you've described yourself in one way throughout your life. So you can start with your qualifications. You can start with your experiences. Fine. Okay. But that's not all it will take. If you have a degree in law, so do many people. They have a degree in law. If you have 10 years experience in a law firm, so do many other people have. Yeah. But this is getting down to why you are uniquely positioned to have that. And as I thought about it, the challenge is, do you have a relationship enough with yourself to be able to see that? And we are so busy filling out what other people need of us that we don't have a relationship with ourselves. And in the last week's podcast, I talked about spending time with yourself. And sometimes we have such a problem sitting still and sitting alone. This is not about being introvert or extroverted. It's, are you comfortable with yourself? Do you even like yourself? Or are you constantly beating yourself down as to why you're not enough, why you haven't done enough, why you should have controlled the world, why you should have controlled your children, why it is you, had you done X, Y, Z, you'd be able to do this, then you're blaming other people, etc. So this exercise gets you to question that. Yeah? Because if you don't like yourself, why should somebody like you? If you don't like your work, why should somebody like your work enough to give you some of the opportunities that you're after? If you don't like spending time with you, why should another person like to spend time with you? Yeah. If you don't like dating yourself, why should somebody else like to date you? Would you date you? As Janet was asking. So write your CV to yourself. Yeah. And now you can say, actually, I want this life. Let's say you like to travel like me, because I am a naturally adventurous person. Yeah, because I am good with connecting with people. Now you've gone beyond titles. So I'm not calling myself a trainer or a teacher. I'm just saying I'm good with connecting with people. And I am. It's not just in my job. I am good with connecting with people. I can do this because I like having conversations. I can do this because I'm a reflective person. I can do this because I am a creative person. I can do this because when it's time for the family holiday, I'm always the one organizing. I can do this because I'm always the one who spots the problem a mile away. So whatever. I can do this because I like rugby. And when it's not just liking rugby like a million people do, but rugby does something to you that is special. Yeah. So write that CV to yourself. Yeah, I'm deserving of this relationship, or can make this relationship work because I am this kind of person. So this is when we start. I mean, if we don't cheerlead ourselves, yeah, then who will? Then you can be also honest and say, I do believe I am this person as well, but maybe I have not shown up that way. And maybe it's because you couldn't be bothered, or you're too tired, you're too stressed. And then one of the things you can be intentional about is showing up that way and showing that side of yourself, first of all, to yourself. And if you're really stuck, and sometimes are really stuck because there are some audiences I have asked, describe yourself without the roles. Mother, father, banker, teacher. Describe yourself without the possessions. Because it is very dangerous when you think the titles, the roles, or the possessions make you who you are. They don't. They don't make you who you are. That's not your likability factor. Yeah, because then if your likability factor is that, what happens when you're not there? And I know many of us live in fear that the day that they are not there, that we will be irrelevant. So if you're in that transition, especially if you're going through things like retirement, this is for you. Just because you're retired does not mean you don't have a purpose in the world and you can't enjoy your life. So what retirement is saying is simply rewrite your job description again. So write this job description. And again, it's not about just work. It's not just about business. It's everything. The job on offer. It's like God is saying the job on offer is the life you dream of. Fine. Now, write why it should actually happen. And I guess doing this is, it's very tied to spirituality and faith, because it's time to start seeing ourselves the way God made us. When he said we are in his image, this is when we start questioning, what did you actually mean? And you can go back to things that people have always told you you've done well. And there's a time I did a very minor version of this exercise a while ago. And I had to tell various people in my life to ask them what it is about me that they like. Yeah. And they were able to say things. I'd like to tell and encourage some of you that as you write this job description, there's some things you think are negatives, but they're actually positives. I used to call myself a procrastinator. And I stopped that day. Fine, I have a few incidences where it's pure blunt procrastination, and I'll own up to that. But most of the times I'm not procrastinating. What they told me is they admire my ability to think and reflect before I make decisions. So I don't procrastinate. It's like people, those of you and thank you so much for those who have worked on me and saying you're following my podcast. Some weeks I'm there. And then you'll be like, for 2 weeks, Sheka has not recorded anything. This is why. I think and reflect. I just don't talk because there's a schedule to talk. I talk because I have something to say. And that, what I have to say sometimes comes from a place of very deep reflection. So I'm not a procrastinator. I'm not inconsistent. I just think and reflect before making decisions. There are some who their gift is the opposite of me. They are fast thinkers. They move quickly. And I admire them for that. And in life, not just work, I found I need those people to compliment me because, not everything can wait for me to have deep reflective thoughts about them. Yeah. So not everything you think is bad is bad. So actually ask yourself, when I was procrastinating, what was it actually about? When I was being called aggressive, what was it actually about? What is beneath the surface? There may be lessons to learn in sometimes how we appear, but sometimes there's a reason for it. And sometimes people use words, especially with women, aggressive, assertive. Fine, those are good words. It's just that women are supposed to be soft and not direct and blunt. And sometimes many of us are direct and blunt. So please look at yourself. You know, those of us who are in my season of life, you've lived long enough to be able to go back and even see from childhood, some things were simply consistent about you. Put them in the CV. If you're a listener, you're a listener. Yeah. If you're the first one to put up your hand in a room and talk, that's you. Where can you use it? And maybe someone will come one day and tell me, by the way, Sheke, I did that exercise and I have a new career. I did that exercise and realized this. And this is when you put it all out in the table. This CV is not a typical job description in a typical organization. This is not when you hide you're also a yoga instructor or a Zumba dancer or you love motorbikes. This one you put it all out. Or you like reading, asterisks and obelisks. You put it all out on the table so that you can see yourself for exactly who you are. I'm getting excited just talking about it because I'm getting excited to move out of the defined roles I have known myself to be and others have known myself to be. And remember, so far, this is just for you, yourself and God. Yeah. Then later you can use aspects of it where you need. And you probably find, because when I realized it's I think and reflect versus procrastination, I had confidence to start rearranging bits and pieces of my work life, especially my work life and even my home life, so that I can have space to think and reflect. Like, for example, I started taking Mondays off. Yeah, I ran a business so I could take Mondays off because of the way the rest of the week was busy and didn't give me that time. But then you have that, then you realize, if I just take that time or I just fill my cup this way, then it gives me energy for everything else that I need to do. So can you join me? Can we write our CVs to ourselves? Can you just imagine the opportunities that will open up? Because after having written this, someone you'll be with at an event, at a wedding, at a function will say something, and then you'll remember that you are that. You'll be able to strike up a conversation, and you don't know where that conversation will lead to. Or you could be in a transition where you want to transition into something different. I don't think you have to wait for somebody to put a job ad up. Yeah. But you could say, actually, me being this person, I can actually fix this problem. I'm going to go out of my way to approach them and tell them why I can fix this problem. Yeah. And you're like, okay. You're like me who's like, me, I'm definitely travel. Now I'm like, now it's an intentional life plan. Yeah. That I am going to travel the world. How is this going to happen? Because there's no point of me achieving X, Y, Z and then travel is not included in it. Yeah. So now I know. Now I'm like, let me plug in more to, in fact, the opportunities that align my work and travel. Yeah. So I think this is all in the spirit of abundance, living your version of abundance, because I think at the end of the day, I've been teaching for years about wealth. For me, wealth is when you are arranging your life and the resources in your life so that you can actually have that abundant life that for you, that only you can actually describe what it is. So describe that job and describe why you are uniquely positioned to fill that job. Forget all the things you've told yourself about why you can't do it. It's too early. It's too late. You're too young. You're too old. You're too this. You're too that. You're too the other. Nobody can write this job description for you. Again, nobody can do it for you. If you listen to me, you know now I'm a big fan of solo reflective exercises. Nobody can actually do this for you. And then say why you are uniquely positioned. Then you can go reach out to people and say, what have you also noticed about me that I may not be capturing in this? The people you trust. So look forward to hearing about your experience in writing your CV to yourself. See you next time.